for Rwandans to be brought together in a new ideology that creates a new history of unity for healing and rebuilding, a Rwanda that does not deprive anyone of their rights and livelihood. We must dissociate ourselves from the ideologies of Parmehutu, Mrnd, CDR, and Paul Kagame, FPR. 1. Parmehutu, Mrnd, CDR-HUTU. Power elements. 1.1. Their ideology is to deny that any genocide has occurred, or to claim that if one has occurred, the RPF committed it, and if the Hutus committed it, it must be classified as double genocide. 1.2. Create the impression that Interahamwe are victims of the RPF by deceiving all Hutus who engaged in the genocide into believing that by emerging themselves into negation, it will exonerate their role in the genocide and hand them the keys to regaining power. Their objective is to erase evidence of genocide, become the majority leader in ethnic politics, and silence survivors through ridicule and intimidation. They also believe that, given their power, they would be able to carry out revenge killings, including the expulsion of former and current RPF members from Rwanda, or imprison them indefinitely so that they can rewrite history uninterrupted, as they would have wanted it had they succeeded in exterminating every Tutsi or defeating the RPF. According to my interpretation, the essence of their ideology is that it does not hold any remorse or empathy for the victims or survivors of what they have done. So it is not surprising that their primary concern is the loss of power rather than what they did when they did have power. This ideology will not be helpful to Rwandans, as it encourages criminals to torture and ridicule those who survived those atrocities and exacerbates psychological conflict in the population, leading to new crimes when Rwanda demands time to recover and rebuild. 2. Paul Kagame, RPF 2-1. Ideology. Rwanda is Paul Kagame, a savior, a hero, a father. No one can run Rwanda except him. 2.2. The objective is to consolidate tyranny and injustice in Rwanda by presenting Rwandans with fabricated propaganda that convinces them that this is good governance and that Paul Kagame is the ideal leader. The predetermined outcome of presidential elections is one of several tactics used by Paul Kagame, RPF, to maintain tyranny, where all Rwandans, including those in the diaspora, are forced to pay funds to the RPF as if they were all bound to be members. Additionally, independent media and critics are suppressed in an effort to conceal the snooping into private lives and businesses. In order to generate an image that portrays admiration and affection for the tyrant, rallies that require everyone to stand in solidarity with the candidate they do not support are typically used to demonstrate this. By expressing love and praise, the international community and the general public are led to believe that the hated candidate is loved. 2.3. Living in a land of false promises. To praise and credit Paul Kagame for Rwanda's development, which they define as clean roads and tall buildings that are unoccupied, they make false promises about a brighter future with fake mega development projects. These tactics are used to encourage Rwandan youth to become militaristic and militia-like, believing they are protecting the country when in fact they are protecting Paul Kagame's oppressive regime. Rwandans, particularly young people who are victims of injustice, including unemployment, poverty, and hunger, are weaponized so they can remain reserved for conflict. Promotion of Paul Kagame's wasteful foreign travels and exploitation of foreign dignitaries and well-known stars' visits to Rwanda to brainwash the public into believing their visits confirm his importance and admiration. Bribing international mainstream media to highlight Rwanda as a model for good governance and development. A Kagame loyal youth is one whose behavior is unprincipled, rebellious, and respects no one, including his or her parents, except Paul Kagame, who is seen as inferible and whose lies, smears, slander, hatred, and jealousy must be owned as their own. The qualities that lead some people to rise into Paul Kagame's ranks are volatile tempers, cheating, lying, and eloquently spouting venom at people they don't know, but who question or comment on his unprincipled behavior. To erode morals and replace them with pornographic content or uncensored sexual promotion, including among children, all families and relationships must be destroyed. Taking away family reunions and religious gatherings would prevent worship of an entity greater than Paul Kagame, prevent social communication, and destroy families and friendships. To fool young minds, Kagame uses foreign entertainers and stars exported to Kigali concerts for shows and tells them that the purpose of life is to emulate him instead of anyone else. Paul Kagame exploits the denial of creativity and self-employment to enslave everyone to endless misery and hopelessness in which he is seen as the only hope. The lack of opportunities, even the right to leave the country, makes people always fear for their survival, distrustful of each other since they do not know who a spy is not. In contrast to other ideologies, Kagame's ideology is meant to give him a chance of survival by using false flags to divide Rwandan society and draw attention to foreign enemies, which may lead ordinary citizens to protect him as savior until the end. In spite of the fact that it is primarily a matter concerning Kagame and not Rwanda, it creates divisions among Rwandans and increases the number of enemies of the country. 3. The National People's Concern. NPC 3.1. The ideology of the NPC is for a free and safe Rwanda, free from dictatorship and its associated injustices, where the achieved change will prevent further oppression and ethnic disparity. Creating an environment that facilitates healing while weaponizing cultural and ethnic differences in order to eradicate hatred and advance humanity. 3.2. Our mission is to end hatred, killings, dictatorship oppression, injustice, poverty, unemployment, and hunger. 3.3. The approach should be to convene a comprehensive dialogue in which the following points would be discussed. Establish a system of governance that empowers the people from the bottom up, called the National Congress, NACO, which will safeguard and monitor national interests by curtailing the exercise of excessive power by the president and other security institutions. To monitor the safe use and expenditure of national resources, to decide how to borrow responsibly, and to provide education, social services, and cultural activities. Provide national program developers and project planners with a syllabus for a better life in Rwanda policy guidebook to be used as a reference when designing national programs. Provide equal opportunities for Hutu and Tutsi youths without the blemishes of past genocides, especially for those who are detached from the interests of remnants of genocide perpetrators. By doing so, we seek to prevent the re-emergence of toxic ideologies and the return of ethnic-based politics to Rwanda. Pursue justice for all parties involved in past killings in order to bring healing and true reconciliation to a nation in need of healing. Implement urgent relief projects for the alleviation of hunger, unemployment, and poverty, allowing communities to regain their sense of dignity on an individual and social level. A peaceful Rwanda without hatred, killings, tyranny, injustice, poverty, unemployment, or hunger is the wish of the National People's Concern, NPC. Richard R. Kayumba.